So let's wait for an extra 3 minutes to see if anyone will join in. Welcome. Hi, Jerry. Jeremiah. Welcome. Yeah, we can wait for an extra maybe 2 minutes before we start. Okay. So hi again. Hi again, and welcome to another session of the DevX working group session. So basically, today I want to highlight some important or essential links to resources and to repositories. Basically, you know, anything that can help you, be successful within the Cardano ecosystem, or any links that can help you to be successful as a Cardano developer. So whether you are building your first app or you are contributing to core Cardano, um, it's important that you know where to find reliable information, right? Because it's a large ecosystem, so there is a whole lot of things going on at once. So it makes sense for you to know where to find what. So in today's session, I'm going to cover, like I said, repositories, important or core repositories that you should know. I'm also going to cover where you can find answers if you're stuck. And I'm also going to cover places where you can check to see what's going on in the ecosystem, what's going on in the chain. And also, last but not the least, where you can connect with other developers within Cardano. Now, going to the first one is, where can I find the code, right? Where are some of the code repositories in Cardano? So primarily, the first repository that I would want to highlight to you is the Intersect MBO organization, right? Of course, by now I know you should have known who Intersect is and what Intersect does in the community. So Intersect is like the umbrella, it's like the umbrella organization that, you know, that's kind of like is there to advance Cardano and help connect developers to, to the necessary resources within Cardano. So Interset is like one of the key member organizations within the Cardano ecosystem. So it's very important that you know where the repository lies so that you can get access to informations that you would need. Information such as, let's say, for example, they say that, for example, the developer experience, the the open source, the OSC, that's open source committee, the docs, these are some of the informations that you can find within the Interset MBO organization. So it's at github.com/Interset MBO. This is like the primary hub, for where the majority of the Cardano development happens. And within Interset MBO, there are some core repositories that you need to have in mind, right? So if you're a developer and you want to contribute to Cardano core, then these are some of the repositories that you need to look out for. So the first is, I already mentioned the developer experience repo. I already mentioned the docs repo as well, and the OSC repo. But another one that I would want to highlight is the Cardano node. So the Cardano node is the core node implementation that runs the Cardano blockchain. And you might say, why would I want to contribute to Cardano node, right? So this is like the heart, of the Cardano blockchain, right? So what it means is that contributing to Cardano node means that you are contributing to Cardano core. So it means that you have an opportunity to contribute to the core of this project. And in case you are really not so much interested in contributing to the open source project, maybe you are interested in running your own node, right? So if you're interested in running your own node, or you're interested in understanding the consensus, then this repository comes in handy. You need to know that, okay, Cardano node exists as a repository, right? Key sections, of course, there is the release section, there is the documentation for the issues page, list out all the bugs. So, but generally, all in all, Cardano node is like core, right? So you know where to find it. It's at github.com/intersetmbo/Cardano node. And then to the next repository that I want to highlight is the Cardano CLI, right? So if you've worked with Cardano before, if you've built on Cardano before, you've definitely used the Cardano CLI, right? So basically, it's like the command line interface for interacting with Cardano. So it's an essential piece of Cardano. So, like I said, as a developer, if you want to, make a huge impact within the Cardano ecosystem, then it would be nice for you to contribute to these core repositories. Or maybe you're interested in giving transactions, you're interested in querying the chain, all those things. Then, of course, you have a need to check out this repository, because this is where all the code lies, all the documentation lies, right? So it's at github.com/intersetmbo/Cardano CLI. And then to the next one is Plutus, right? Of course, if you are a developer, you've written smart contracts on Cardano, you definitely know the name Plutus. It definitely rings a bell. So Plutus is like, of course, it's a smart contract platform for Cardano, right? So if you want to write on the chain, on-chain validators, if you want to understand Plutus, the core of Bluetooth, right? You want to like dig deep into how what is Bluetooth and how does it work under the hood, then this repository will come in handy, right? So that's at github.com/intersectmbu/Bluetooth. So yeah, so these are some of the core repositories that I wanted to highlight that lives within the Intersect MBU organization. Right? So yeah, so if you are interested in core Cardano development, if you are interested in, the documentation within the Intersect, if you're interested in, like learning about the dev experience or the dev practices within Intersect, then these repositories, are some of the repositories that will come in handy for you. And another repo or another organization that I want to highlight is the IOHK, IOG repos or IOG organization. So, of course, the OG, organization before Intersect even came to be, the OG organization for everything Cardano core lives in the input output HK, right? This is the organization that hosts important tooling and libraries, like, for example, the Cardano wallet, the List wallet, and the rest of them. So if you want to like have access, or rather, if you want to check out the Cardano wallet, the code behind the Cardano wallet, if you want to check out the List wallet, the code behind the List wallet, if you want to check out the code behind the Malawi Cardano, then you have to, check out these different repositories. I'm going to come to the questions part very soon. For now, I'll just kind of like go through this presentation, and then once I'm done, I'll check the chat to see if there are some questions that are, that you have for me. So yeah, so these are like where you can find, some of these important repositories in the IOG. And yeah, so if you're interested in, maybe for example, you are interested in building your own wallet on Cardano, maybe you want to build it like a different version of your own wallet, then it makes sense for you to check out the Cardano wallet, how it was built, right? If you are interested in domain-specific language for financial contracts, then maybe it makes sense for you to check the Malawi Cardano. Or you're interested in building financial dApps, all of those things, you can as well check the Malawi Cardano. If you're also interested in like, checking out, lightweight wallet systems, that has like dApp connectors and all of those things, it makes sense for you to also check out the List wallet, right? So these are the links that kind of like gives you access to the actual code base. So it is important that as a developer, you know that, okay, this exists and this is where I can find that. And yeah, another organization that I also need to point out, like I said, like I said, I pointed out two organizations now. So I pointed out the Intersect MBA organization on GitHub. I pointed out the IOG organization on GitHub. And now another one that I want to point out is the Cardano Foundation. So the Cardano Foundation, of course, is the umbrella foundation for everything Cardano. So basically, if you're interested in learning more about like the open standards, the governance tools, and different support systems within the ecosystem, then it makes sense for you to check out the Cardano Foundation repo. So it's at github.com/Cardano Foundation. This is where you can find everything that relates to these things that I mentioned. So yeah, that's about that. That's about the core repositories or the core organizations that you need to know within the Cardano ecosystem. Now let's go down to documentation, right? I mean, a lot of people would say it's a bit difficult to know where to find what's within the Cardano ecosystem. I mean, you have several docs, right? You have docs.cardano.org, you have developers.cardano.org, you have the forum, you have a lot of things, right? So it is important that you know exactly where to find what's within the Cardano ecosystem. And in this particular section, I am going to highlight some important official documentation websites that you can leverage on, or that you can have access to, to look for information that you are interested in. So the first on my list is the Cardano docs. So the site is docs.cardano.org. So basically, this is the official documentation hub, that has and hosts a whole lot of different information that deals with, the development, the operations, the governance, the Cardano, right? So it has a getting started guide. If you're a newbie and you want to understand the basics, you can find some good getting started guides that can put you through how to get started on Cardano. If you're interested in development, building on Cardano, it also has like some technical, guides that covers how you can build smart contracts, how you can, create tokens, how you can build integrations and all of those things. If you're interested in the operation side, it also covers important documentations on how to run nodes, how to do stake pools and stuff like that. Governance as well, if you're interested in like understanding the Cardano's governance model, it has all of this information that you need. And yeah, like I said, it houses or it contains all of these things, right? So yeah, so in case you're interested in like these informations, then it makes sense for you to check out docs.cardano.org. This is the official Cardano documentation. Now, to the next one, you remember I mentioned it before. Cardano has a developer portal. So the site is developers.cardano.org. So this is a specific site built for developers within Cardano. So docs.cardano.org is also built for developers, but it's more vague, right? It covers a whole lot of sides to the Cardano ecosystem. So it doesn't just cover development, it also covers like things like governance and the rest, right? That's for docs.cardano.org. But developers.cardano.org is developer focused. It has everything that has to do with developers, right? From practical guides, to integration guides, to project showcase, to technical guides, technical concepts, explained. So basically, this is like a hub for developers within the Cardano ecosystem. So if you want to check, or if you want to learn about, tools that you can leverage on, if you want to learn about some concepts that you don't really understand, then this is a hub for you. This is the site for you. So it's at developers.cardano.org. Then another documentation that I need to highlight is the CIP. So it's Cardano Improvement Proposals. So this basically covers, everything that has to do with standards and specifications for Cardano. So, I mean, you should think of this as RFCs for the ecosystem. So basically, if you want to check things like token standards, if you want to understand, wallet interfaces, if you want to understand government processes as well, this is the right place for you. So you can check out the GitHub at github.com/Cardano Foundation CIPs. You can as well check out the portal at cips.cardano.org. So if you're looking to propose a CIP, if you're looking to go through the review stages, before it becomes a standard, then this is the right place for you to look at. So there is an important piece of documentation site that you need to know as a developer within the Cardano ecosystem. So yeah, so that's about the documentation side. Now let's go to the next session, which is the API and data services. We've covered the core repositories, we've covered the official documentation. Now it's the API and data services. So for the API and data services, these are like services you would call when you're building applications on Cardano. So the first one on my list is the block trust, right? It's kind of like a hosted API service for Cardano data. So if you are looking to like running your own infra, this is like the right place for you to look at. So using block trust, you can query blockchain data, you can submit transactions, you can check for WebSocket support, and all of those things, right? So in case you're like someone that is interested in building portfolio trackers, then this is the right place for you. This is the right tool or the right information. This is the right place where you can find the right information for things like this. The next one on my list is Cois. So Cois is, like I said, it's still like has to do with the APIs. So if you're interested in like, decentralized API services, then this is the right place for you. If you want to like, it's similar to the one I mentioned above, that's to block force, but the difference is that for QoS you need no registration. So it's community run, it's open source. So anyone can use it, anyone can contribute to it. So in case you want to like do like a quick prototype, then this is like the right tool for you. So it's at api.cois.rest, or you can check out the official website, which is cois.rest. And another one is Mestro. So Mestro is a Web3 infrastructure platform that has Cardano support. So it has like advanced features that can help you, with transaction building, right? So it has some amazing features like GraphQL support. It has like built-in indexing tools, and stuff like that. So yeah, in case you're interested in things like this, you should check out the Mistral website at comistral.org, or you can check out the docs at docs.comistral.org. Another tool on my list remember, we are still within the API and data services. So this is like, these tools apply to anyone that's interested in building maybe like some form of like some data intensive, applications on Cardano, or anyone that is interested in like building, indexing tools and stuff like that. So we are still within the API and data services. Another tool that I needed to mention is Ogmius, right? So there is Ogmius that still does everything that every other tool does. But I think what makes it stand out is, it's like your WebSocket, but it's on Cardano. So it's like a bridge to the Cardano node, but it's, you can see it as a WebSocket. And in case you're looking to like building like a direct access to your node's local state queries, then this is the right tool for you to use. And you can find more information, like on GitHub at github.com/Cardano solutions/Ogmius, or you can check out their docs at ogmius.dev. So the next on my list is the Cardano DB sync. Cardano DB sync is like your Postgres uh, database syncing, chain data. So this is more like DB centric. So this comes in handy when you want to like, do some complex queries across like a large historical data. So in case you're like interested in anything like this, you should check out Cardano DB sync. So these are like official. This is like an official DB sync on Cardano. So if you can see, if you look at the GitHub, you realize that it lives within the Intercept MBO organization. So that's to tell you that it is an official DB sync on Cardano. It is officially recognized. So if you are looking to build an Explorer, an analytics platform, or anything that kind of like needs custom indexing, this is the right tool for you to use. And the last but not the least is Palace, right? So this is like, it's like if you want like super high performance, if you want to be like super high performance applications on Cardano, then you need to use Palace, right? Reason is because it's built using Rust, so it gives you that advantage, to build ultra performance custom index and services. So yeah. So in case you're looking to building, I said, high performance indexing service, this is the right tool for you to use. So you can check out the code base at github.com/tx5/palace. And to the next section is the block explorers, right? So the block explorers is basically essential for checking what exactly is going on in the chain, right? So things like your scan, your Cardano scan, your Cardano Explorer, and the rest of them. So the number one tool, like I mentioned, Cardano scan, it's quite popular. A lot of people know Cardano scan. So it's basically, it's good for, for things like token information. You can get things like token information. You can use Cardano scan to pull data. You can use it to pull stats, and it's kind of like good for quick checks during development. So if you're interested in like a clean UI that kind of like does lookups and that all of those things, Cardano scan is the right tool for you to use. So it's at cardanoscan.io. Right. The next one is Cardano Explorer. Still does the same thing, the same epoch lookups, all of those things. But the difference is that this is the official Foundation Explorer. So this, from the URL, you can tell that this is the official Cardano scan, right, by the Cardano Foundation. So, so if you want to like verify protocol parameters, if you want to check epoch boundaries, this is the right tool for you to use. So it's at explorer.cardano.org. Another tool that I need to highlight is the other stats. So it's also, useful if you want to, if you're a pool delegator, if you're a pool operator or a delegator. Right? So the site is, you can find, more information at otherstats.net. Another tool that I want to highlight as well is the C Explorer. So C Explorer is also like it's also a block explorer, and you can. It's mainly targeted more to like advanced users. So if you're kind of like new into this, the UI might be a bit hard for you to use because it's not so intuitive. But yeah, it still does every other thing that the rest does. It gives you access to like rich metadata, allows you to interact with a smart contract and all of that. So yeah, you can check it out at cexplorer.io. Another tool that I needed to mention as well is pool.pm. So pool.pm is mainly focused on NFTs. So if you're building, like, you are trying to like build an NFT platform or things like that, this tool comes in handy. Right? So it's best for NFT collectors and traders, and it provides important information around policy, around NFT metadata, out of the box. So this can come in handy if you're interested in, anything NFT and Cardano. So the website is pool.pm. Now let's go to the fun part, because I am very much a community person. So I like to highlight community forums and community support systems, right? So in case you are stuck, in case you need help, in case you want to connect to other videos, how can you go about that? The number one platform that I would highlight is the Cardano forum. Actually, it's supposed to be the other way around. So the Cardano forum is the number one forum for anything Cardano related. So it's like the long form discussion forum. It's been there for years, right? So basically what it does is that it gives you access to some questions that probably you might have that has already been discussed, right? It gives you access to discussions that has happened in the past. It gives you access for you to connect with developers that are building on Cardano, and it gives you access to even the maintainers as well. So it's a very, very good platform for you to, ask questions. It's a very good platform for you to, keep CIP feedback. It's a very good platform for you to also keep track on the ecosystem updates. Right? So yeah, so it's at forum.cardano.org. And the next on my list is Cardano Stack Exchange. This is like your Stack Overflow, but specific to Cardano, right? So if you have like some technical questions that you think maybe you've looked on Cardano forum, you couldn't find it, definitely you would find it on Cardano Stack Exchange. So basically it's a very good platform that allows you to, ask important questions, search, also vote for answers as well. And like I said, there are experts on these platforms, so feel free to ask any questions that you might have, and they will be willing and more than willing to kind of like answer your questions. The next on my list, of course, is the Discord servers. So primarily within Cardano, we use Discord for our community, and some of the Discord servers that I want to highlight is the first is the Cardano developers Discord server. So it's basically like a server that covers general Cardano development. It has different channels, of course, like development, tools, Bluetooth, all those things. So you can check out the link. And there is the IoT technical community as well. You can check out cardano.org for invites. There is the Intersect MBO Discord channel. So this is more targeted to folks that are interested in contributing to Cardano's open source development. So if you want to like interact with, other open source enthusiasts, or you want to interact with maintainers, or you want to interact with even, governance, leads and, committee members, Intersect MBO Discord channel is the right place for you to be. You can check out the link to join the Discord. Uh, there are different channels, like there is a developer experience channels, which I would encourage you to join. Um, there is the technical steering committee channel. There is the open source committee channel as well. So yeah. So that is that. Then for another, you know, forum that I would want to highlight that you can use for support is Reddit. Um, I'm a huge fan of Reddit, and I use Reddit a lot. So if you're that kind of person that also that wants to kind of like join the Cardano community on Reddit, then you should check out the r/Cardano developers. So it's more like a less formal discussion forum that allows you to, kind of like chip in important discussions, get community feedback, share your project and all of that. So it's more like, of course, Reddit, it's super informal. You don't need to like, all you need to do is just follow through the code of conduct, on the Reddit channel, right? So yeah, that's for Reddit. And we also have different developer groups on Telegram as well. So you can ask on these different forums. You can ask on, maybe Reddit. You can ask on maybe the Discord servers to get access to some Telegram groups, that you could partake in. And last but not the least is the GitHub discussions. A lot of important decisions, actually happen on Discord, on GitHub. So a lot of the discussions around, the major repos or around the processes or around governance tend to happen in the open, right? So you can join in these discussions, and you can check it out on the different repos that we have. So the the one repo that I think you should consider checking for discussions like this is the Cardano node, right? So there are a lot of discussions happening on the Cardano node on GitHub. So you should check it out. Then another one is the Plutus, so there's also like discussions going on within the Plutus repository that you can be part of. So please do well to check out these different repos and get involved in these discussions. And yeah, to the next, I would want to highlight some important development tools that you can leverage on, right? I mean, we've talked about the community forums, we've talked about the block explorers, talked about the APIs and the DBs, talked about the docs. Now I think it makes sense for us to go beyond these things, beyond the APIs and beyond the docs and other things, and go deep into the tools that can allow you to build on Cardano. So the first on my list is the Lucid, right? So Lucid is like for folks that are interested in building off-chain transaction, or building dApps without Haskell knowledge. So if you're a JavaScript guy or a TypeScript guy and you want to build a dApp, right, it makes sense for you to use Lucid, right? So it's basically an off-chain transaction library that allows you to build dApps on Cardano. So yeah, I know there are a whole lot of like folks that are probably super excited about this particular tool, because some might say, Haskell might be a bit difficult for them to pick up. Some already are using JavaScript, so this tool definitely comes in handy for them. Then the next one is the SDKs. So Evolution SDK is, an off-chain transaction library still built for JavaScript and TypeScript developers. So, if you want to build, strongly typed of chain transactions, then you should use this tool. So you can as well check it out at github.com/intersect/evolution SDK. The next one on my list is the mesh. So this is like a framework on Cardano. So it has like React components out of the box. It has like things like hooks and utilities that can allow you to build rapidly on Cardano. So in case maybe you want to like you want to build, you know, uh, applications, on Cardano, then you should check out mesh.js.dev. Super useful. It comes in handy really well, especially if you are like a JavaScript or you come from a JavaScript ecosystem and you want to like get started quickly on Cardano. The next on my list is PyCardano. So PyCardano is a Python library for Cardano, right? The Python library for Cardano, it's basically useful for building backend services, automation scripts, and data analysis. So you can check out the GitHub at github.com/python cardano/pycardano. Another one is Icon. I mean, a lot of developers within Cardano is already familiar with Icon because it's like the default tool for writing smart contracts, right? So if you want to learn how to build smart contracts, then it makes sense for you to use Icon, right? So you can check out the website and the documentation at iconlearn.org. Another tool that I want to highlight is Tmeta. So Tmeta is mainly focused around like cloud development, for Cardano. So if you want to maybe like run Cardano on the cloud, then Tmeta is the right application for you. It's basically pre-configured. You don't need to set up anything locally. Everything is on the cloud. It's already set up for you. All you need to do is just go to the website, sign up, and get started with Cardano. So it's at tmeta.run. That's the website. Then the last but not least is transaction building tools. So I know I already mentioned TX5 before, but yeah, I wanted to also highlight TX5. So if you want to build like super high performance tools, on Cardano, then you should check out the organization TX5, github.com/TX5, right? So it has a whole lot of tools that allow you, a whole lot of Rust-based tools that allow you to build super high performance systems or applications or processes within Cardano. Another one that I want to highlight is the Cardano serialization library. So it's like, this is more like low-level transaction building, right? So if you're interested in more like the low-level side of things, then you should check out this particular tool. So it's at github.com/imogo/Cardano serialization lib. And there are some additional resources that I need to highlight that I think would come in handy for anyone that is interested in building on Cardano. The number one is the essential Cardano. So this is like a created list of resources on Cardano, right? It comes in really handy. It's definitely one of those repos that you go to, and then you can have like a bird's eye view of all the different resources categorized by role and interest. So it is super essential for you to have that in mind. So it's at github.com/input output hk/essential Cardano. Then next one is Cardano updates. So this is more like a tracker, development activity tracker. So if you want to keep track of all the activities going on in the different repositories within the Cardano ecosystem, this is the right website for you. So it gives you real-time updates on what's going on in the different repositories across the Cardano ecosystem. So you should check it out at cardanoupdates.com. Another website that I want to highlight is Kimber Labs. So Kimber Labs is more like it's like an educational platform that has like courses that you can take to get started with Cardano. It has a playground, it has community platforms. So Kimberland is the right website for you in case you want to like in case you want to like go through a well curated course on Cardano. Yeah, I think it's you could check out the website and see for yourself and see if see if you're gonna like the content and all that. Trust me, I think you're gonna like the content. Another one that I want to highlight is the Project Catalyst. Right, almost everyone within the Cardano ecosystem knows about the Catalyst. So basically, if you're a developer or you're someone that is interested in building in Cardano and you want to like take advantage of the different opportunities, funding opportunities that exist within the ecosystem, then you should definitely check out the Project Catalyst. So Project Catalyst, funds different programs, different ideas within the ecosystem, and it does it on a yearly basis, right? So you should check out Project Catalyst and yeah, you can see for yourself. If you're looking to like raising some money for your project, you should definitely check out Project Catalyst. Yeah. And the last but not the least is the knowledge base. The Intersect knowledge base is like the official documentation for all the processes, all the governance models, everything that you want to know about Cardano open source and Intersect lives within this knowledge base. So if you want to check out the different working groups, if you want to check out the committee information, if you want to check out, like I said, governance models or governance practices, you should definitely check out the Intersect knowledge base. So the portal is at docs.intersectmbo.org. So this is where you can find all of everything you need, that relates to Intersect or that relates to the Cardano open source. And yeah, so of course, this is like a quick reference, if you want to like maybe like you're interested in like understanding how something works, this is the site you need to check. You need to check the docs.cardano.org or developers.cardano.org. If you need help with the coding problem, check the Discord or the Stack Exchange or the forum. If you want to build a dApp quickly, you can use Mesh or Lucid and Blockfrost, right? If you want to participate in governance or you want to vote on proposals, you can use the Gov tools, that's the Gov tools. If you want to contribute to Cardano Core, you can start in Intersect repo, that's Intersect MBO/developer experience, and then branch to specific repos. If you want to stay updated on development, you can follow Cardano updates and the relevant Discord channel. So basically, this is like a quick reference for you to know when to use what. So in case everything that I said in this session, maybe you need like, in case you just want like a TLDR of everything that I said in this session, this is it for you. This is the section for you. This week reference kind of like be like your guide to to where, where you want to or what you need, within the Cardano ecosystem. So yeah, I mean, so far you've seen that there is a whole lot of resources within the ecosystem, um, and it cuts across different areas, right? So my advice for you would be, first you need to start small. Okay, you need to start small because if you take it up all at once, you're going to get overwhelmed. So I advise you start small. Bookmark 3 to 5 resources you use most often. I mean, I anticipate it's going to be like maybe things around documentation, things around, support, things around maybe like the API service or the Explorer, but definitely the documentation and support. So because as a developer, you would want to build on Cardano and you want to ask questions. So you need to know where to ask the right question and also where to find necessary information that you need, right? And yeah, after you've done all these things, or while you're even doing all these things, if you think that there is a part of the process or part of the resource or part of the ecosystem that you think needs some improvements, you are free to contribute back, right? So if you figure out that something was not well documented, well documented, you can open a PR, right? Or if you see a question on maybe on the forum or on Stack Exchange, and you think you have some contest around that, you can chip in your opinions. You can answer these questions on these platforms. And yeah, another thing is you need to stay connected to the ecosystem, right? So you need to join at least one community space. So either you join the Discord, or you join the forum, or you join the the Reddit community. You just have to be part of one of our community space because it's going to help you ask questions and it's going to connect you to the right people that will answer your questions. So do well to stay connected with community. And last but not the least, um, you can keep this guide handy, right? So these documents would it's going to be a living document. So it's going to be improved from time to time. And it's in the developer experience repo. So you can easily have access to it um, anytime you want, right? And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I believe if right. I mean, I know this was a lot. It was a whole lot of information put out at once. But yeah, this is more like uh, a general guide, to any links, so long as it's essential and so long as it's, it's so long as it's essential and so long as it's going to, so long as you are going to need it to build within Cardano, So yeah, I'll stop sharing now, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Let's see. Okay, I think someone said, can you share the link to the page you are sharing? Oh, yeah. So for the page, I would definitely, so you can, let me see. So the page is a work in development. It hasn't been merged yet, but you can, when the PR gets merged, that's when this gets merged to main. You can check it out at So you can check it out here. So if you check this link, you notice that it says the session materials are in development, right? If you check the status, the reason is because um this particular session is yet to be merged. So once after this call, hopefully within today or tomorrow, I will get this session material published on the website. So once you go to this link by tomorrow, you should get access to all of the information that I just mentioned, right? So yeah, so this is the link, but by tomorrow, all the session materials will be published. So let me pin it to the chat. Cool. Any other question? Any concerns?
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
I was inquiring there is instructions to installing the node and the CLI to interact with the Cardano CLI.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the guide, because last time I was not on the call, I missed out.
Okay. Yeah. So for the Cardano, for the node and the CLI, you can check out the link to the GitHub. I know there is a getting started guide on the different repositories, so you can just check it out and go through it one by one or step by step.
Uche, just to let you know. So the last session I covered most of that, setting up the Cardano node locally with Docker Compose and how you can run CLI commands. So here's the link to last week's session. I made a demo repo that sort of guides you on everything you need to know about the node, the different commands you can run to just create a wallet on the CLI. You can set up the node locally. You can set up the different networks that you want to test out. So you can set up mainnets and preview, which just needs you to change like one thing in the env of Docker Compose. So here's the link to that session. You can watch the video or just go to the repo. So I've documented everything you need to know if you're basically running this thing for the first time in your life. So I've pasted the link in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us in the Discord channel if you haven't yet joined the Discord channel, which usually happens after you register as a member in Intersect. Then you can get access to our Discord channel that is under the Open Source Committee Developer Advocates. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Georgina.
Yeah, so about the Discord channel, okay, is it I'm registering on Intersect? Do I need to register as an individual because I registered as an associate?
Yeah, so you don't, an individual, I think that's why you pay the $10. So you don't need to register for that if you just want to get the resources or get to the Discord channel. The $10 or the individual is usually when you want to participate in voting for the committee members and Intersect board. Or if you want to vie for a seat, basically you need to have like a higher tier in the Intersect membership.
Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, the associate is okay. I mean, for you to be able to get access to resources and to be able to join the Discord channel, the associate level is good enough. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other question? Okay, I guess that's a no, and it looks like you are right on time. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. This was super fun. Like I said, you can get access to this session material or lesson material at this link that I added on the chat. Once we publish the session resources, you should have all of it on this page. So you can just copy the link and keep an eye on this page. Hopefully by the end of today or tomorrow latest, once you have this PR emerged, then you should be able to have access to the session materials. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you on the Discord channel, and I also hope to see you on our next session, DevX working group session. That's next week. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.